I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to Candle of Knowledge Redux. My name is Jarvis Smith. Candle of Knowledge is about the life and lessons that my parents taught me in the wake of their deaths and how I'm using it to navigate my life overall. It has been a dope time doing this whole entire video series, video diary, video journal, podcast, whatever you want to call it. If this is your first time checking out this, I appreciate it so much. It means a lot to me that you clicked on this play button. Go ahead and like if you like what you're feeling right now. If you saw something in the past that drew you in or whatever, or someone shared this with you. If not, you just randomly came across this, that's even better. I appreciate it as well. And man, we just want to keep rocking it out over here, man, because it's been a good time. This week has been good. It's been busy, but it's been good. And I'm just feeling the vibes overall. So I hope you are feeling the same vibes in your world too, wherever you're coming at watching this video, whether it be in the past, whether it be in the present, whether it be in the future. All right. Overall, man, like I said before, candle knowledge, we're going to touch on a lot of different things. Sometimes these things are going to be upbeat, positive, reflective that way. Sometimes they're going to tackle some tough topics. And sometimes it's going to get into some nitty and gritty, some dirt stuff, man, right? Well, not that crazy, but it'll be like that sometimes. One of the things I want to do here is revisit an episode that I did on the audio series called The War from Within. During the volume 2, season 2 of Candle Knowledge, I did this episode speaking about just my experiences growing up, being interested in different type of stuff. In particular, being interested in stuff that got me teased when I was younger, because to be straight up, that ain't what black people do. Black people don't listen to rock and roll. Black people don't get involved with music like that. We don't get involved with bands and stuff like that, etc. That's where we're going with this episode, essentially. These different stereotypes that I had to address and overcome when I was younger. And now with a much more mature mind, I reflect on it. And now I just want to revisit that one because it still means a lot to me, because it played a pivotal role in shaping where I'm at today for the better instead of the worse. But it could have went the other way, straight up. Coming up as a kid, always had different interests. Maybe you can kind of see on these different walls here. I'm into a lot of different things when it comes to music. I wasn't just into hip hop. I was also into rock, bands like Limp Bizkit, Korn, at the time. And then also listening to Cash Money, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Jay-Z, Ja Rule, all that stuff like that. 50 Cent, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. But still being interested on the rock side of things too, like checking out that music as well. That's kind of the lane I was in, blending in between the two worlds, right? But of course, when you're younger, man, you're getting teased for that stuff like that. Though it's like, wait a minute, that's not what real black people do. That's not what real, what I'm saying, y'all should be into that stuff like that. And I'm getting teased on both sides. I'm getting teased from, the black kids in school because they like straight up, that's not what niggas listen to. I'm keeping it real. This episode is not for the kids. It's not for the corporations or anything like that. It's for people who have been through some experiences. So if you feel uncomfortable with that word, you can exit right over there. For the white people that I went to school with, they're like, brother, you're not like really like, that's not like what black people do. You guys, dance and listen to hip hop and, eat fried chicken. You guys can't swim. That's what you guys do. You don't really like, I'm just keeping it real. You guys don't listen to rock music. That's not like what you guys do, man. Like, I know Jimi Hendrix is there, but like, you don't listen to rock, man. It's all true stuff that's happened to me. And when you're youngin', man, you just want to like just fit in with people. You just want to kind of have, your experiences just fitting in with people. Like you're not trying to ruffle anyone's feathers. That was me. I was just into my own personal interests. People were telling me, but you can't be into this. You can't be into that. Literally, you can't be into this. You can't be into that because the color of my skin. I can't be into these different things. I got to be into one thing only. So I'm black. I can only listen to rap, hip hop, R&B. That's it. Soul music or whatever, right? Those artists are dope, man. I was a little bit later to the R&B and soul side a little bit, but I messed with Genuine, obviously, Usher, and, Tyrese playing some Tyrese music for sure. But, down the line, again, much, much later. Now I'm kind of getting into a lot of stuff that I missed out on, but definitely that was my era. Right. But, again, just having these different interests was like confrontation, was conflict externally and internally. Externally, because literally me having my personal interest in not just hip hop, but also rock music with these rock bands that I was curious about or interested in, literally created, I wouldn't say the deepest rivalries, but just like little mini confrontations amongst people that you would see in the hallways and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, this is crazy. But then At the same time, it would create an internal conflict because it's like, man, I keep hearing people saying that I'm not black enough because I'm not fitting to this type of image that they think what a black person should be. And as a young kid, 15 years old, 16 years old, that can really alter your mind. But the thing that really saved me from going down the other path was creativity. Always goes back to creativity for me, major thing. So I was getting into creating music, hip hop music. I was getting into creating hip hop music because that's genuinely what I was gravitating towards overall. I did like writing lyrics, writing rhymes. That's what I was into the most. Once I really realized that, you can write rhymes with a pen or a pencil and a notepad, and you could just start writing, that was really exciting to me. The vocal part of it, that's what really got to me. I never really had a desire to play an instrument, even though I thought people who can play the drums, the guitar, the bass, or whatever, the saxophone, trumpet was super dope, but I just never had interest in doing that. I was more of a vocal person. So like the singers or the rappers and stuff like that, I was always a frontman person. So that's why I like Limp Bizkit and Korn, because of Fred Durst, Jonathan Davis, the frontman of the group. They were just up there on stage with no instrument, just being in there and kind of controlling the crowd, the MC, right? I was always interested in being the MC. So obviously the origins of hip hop is built on the MC. So that's why I kind of gravitate towards. So through my journey, through our creativity, express myself through my art and stuff like that, that was the thing that was drawing me in. And the biggest thing about that, the reason why it kept me sane and not have these type of conflicts with myself that was going to take me down a different path, was because it helped me focus on myself. Because one of the best things about hip hop music is about being original, and originality is about coming from you, your perspective. Okay, then mix it in. You into some hip hop, you into some rock. Okay, mix it in together. Obviously, with that being said, too, once I started getting more into the history of music and hip hop music and rock music, I started coming across the collaborations of like Run DMC and Aerosmith, Public Enemy and Anthrax, and these different mashups. I started seeing like groups like, when I was listening to Limp Bizkit, when I was listening to Linkin Park, I was like, man, wait a minute, something about this music, man. I feel like there's like an element of hip hop in there somewhere. And there was. So when I started seeing that, wait a minute, these two worlds were collaborating with each other. Ice Cube was doing features with Korn on Follow the Leader. I'm like, wait a minute. All this shit that people are talking to me, they're lying. They're lying to me. And when I had that realization that they were lying to me, I'm like, okay, nah, I'm not going down that path. I'm not going down that path. You're lying to me. And I could have taken it personal, really personal. Like, okay, I'm about to confront every single person that was talking that shit. But nah, that's a losing battle right there, because parents were going to tolerate and fighting up and down the hallways over some stupid stuff. Never were. Trust me. It is not my household. But beyond that serious consequence part too, it was also like, wait a minute, if they're lying, then there's truth somewhere. Where's that truth at? It's in the creativity, it's in the art, it's in the music. So continue to follow that thread. And throughout my creativity with my music, after I graduated from high school and got beyond all that stuff and I got into college, I was still creating music, still doing my thing. And I was now able to, reflect a lot more about those experiences. And I want to say around the time I was in college, I was able to come up with this song that I feel like I was definitely trying to write when I was in high school, called The War From Within. And that song was about those experiences. I can remember the opening line here about like, I've been told I'm not black enough to rap. I'm not hood enough for that. I'm too good of a cat to be mixed in with that. What do I know about pain? Posting on blocks, selling cane, busting out shots with the gangs, and growing up without a thing. That's probably the last time you might hear me rap around here. Some archaic lyrics up in there. Cat. That's some old 70s throwback stuff there. What's up, young cat, young blood? But no, that was part of the opening verse there that I did, and for that song. And I just remember reflecting on that stuff, reflecting those experiences about having this internal battle is what I was thinking. I was crafting that song at that time. It was just like this internal battle amongst myself, amongst what I was facing, the war from within. And which side do you believe in, the truth or the lies? That's how I was breaking it down. Or you're going to believe in the lies that people were telling you about what you were going to be and who you should be and your identity, your racial background, because of these stereotypes that people are literally basing your identity on? Or do you believe the truth, which is in yourself, which is who you are, your authenticity and stuff like that? So it was that battle, but through that song and through the creation of that song, it really was a pure expression of getting those ideas, those feelings, and those thoughts out of me. all those years later into this type of song overall. So it was really a dope moment. But and also kind of going through that and kind of like navigating that and understanding myself more, I would say shout out to my parents, in particular my father, most definitely, because my father was always a person who was a big music head. He was the reason why I was introduced to so much different type of music because he would drive us a lot of different places, especially the family trips, and he would be playing a mixture of the latest hip hop, the latest R&B, the soul, so like things like Al Green, The Temptations, the Isley Brothers, but then also Biggie, Tupac, Twista, Crucial Conflict, all this stuff like that, is what I would be listening to thanks to my father. But the cool thing my father did was when he started to see that I was into these different genres of music, you know what he did? He gave me the chance before the aux chord was a thing. He said, "Man, what you listening to?" I said, I'm listening to, like Corn or something like that. Okay, this is around the time Corn released their album Issues. He said, man, go ahead, let's put it on the speaker, put it on the speaker set, put it onto the main set. And then he would let me play my music on this main car speakers on the family trips that we would have. And I thought that was super dope because that was him showing support of what I was into. So if my father's showing support, he's down into it. And my father has always been into so many different diverse things. That's something I love about him so much, is that he was always into so many different things. He was open-minded to different experiences and different backgrounds, no matter where the person came from, what they were interested in. My father definitely was interested in just learning about that or experiencing that or embracing that culture. So when he was doing that with me, I was like, okay, that's what's up. That's what matters most. Not these people that I used to go to school with that I will never see again in my life and try to uphold their standards of what blackness should be. It's about the environment that I'm created. And again, it's these things that I never heard from in my home, but it was these people outside of my home trying to create this image of what I should be. So I'm just glad that I never broke my character, never lost myself. But honestly, that could have shaped my mind, man. But the positive reinforcements of creativity, the positive reinforcements of my parents, my father, and his genuine interest and excitement about me being into different types of music was what me was is what led me to my career now that I've have in live entertainment, where I'm working on some of these different events and tours and concerts with these artists coming from all different types of genres, whether it be electronic music, pop music, R&B, hip hop, rock and metal, and everything else in between, and country music too. And like, I would never be in this position that I'm in if I was just closed minded to things. I would have literally killed my entire career because I was trying to uphold, this image of what blackness should be. I could tell you right now, I would not be in the state of California. I would not be doing the things that I'm doing with my creativity and my art, and both on a professional sense and on a personal sense. I would have been literally stuck in my small town of Palos Hills, upholding this image of what blackness should be based on some goofies that I used to go to school with that no longer matter to me in my actual life now. That's just the biggest thing, man, that I can just genuinely say, dog. It's like, that's crazy to think, though, that how that could have altered my entire mind. Because again, you're young, you're 15, 16. You can easily get your whole entire mind just warped and go in a different direction and let that be the thing that alters you. And then you trying to live up to this image and this type of mindset that is not true. So I'm just so glad that I broke free from all that. I'm so glad that I didn't let that be the thing that got a hold of me and stopped me from really become a better version of myself, sending me down the path that I truly need to go down. My art saved me. My parents saved me. My father put on for me, man. I just really appreciate that always, man. So as I continued on to have these different diverse collective interests and hobbies, I was able to realize when you're into these different types of music, these different genres of music, or whatever, and you're able to kind of go through these different, rooms of people like that don't look like you, that don't come from the same background from you and stuff like that, but you're able to have a common interest through the music. That's like being able to speak another language, in my opinion, having genuine interest in a group like, Metallica, but then also being interested in something like Jay-Z, but then also being interested in maybe an artist like The Weeknd, but then also, I like Christina Aguilera, but then also I could be interested in an artist like, Sam Hunt, but then I can also listen to Slipknot, but then also I can listen to some more, R&B stuff like an artist like Kari, and I can also be interested and a rock group like CKY or Pierce Savelle or so many other. I can keep going on, Sleep Token, etc. I could be interested in all these different things and still have a way to communicate with people. And to me, that's always been like a secret way of kind of really genuinely having conversations with people and genuinely connecting with people and be able to speak that different language, that universal language of connection through music and art and song and performance and dance and all this stuff like that, man. That's all universal stuff, man. So like, yeah, man, you become multicultural, multifaceted. So you get around this globe, which is bigger than just your hometown, especially if you got a small hometown. Once you really start to move around this globe and see the world, you start realizing having those unique interests, those diverse interests will really take you far, man. But if I didn't really understand that and I didn't survive the war from within, I would not be on the side talking to you right now. I can guarantee you that. After this experience, too, man, it's just a cool thing that I like about today's timeline, though, is that there are so many different Black creatives and different Black people experiencing themselves, male, female, everything else in between. Just everyone sharing their different perspectives in the world from our lens, from our viewpoint. And it's just not this one monolithic view that we're just this one thing. No, it's a stupid thing now, and it can easily be broken down. Black people don't do this, Black people don't do this, or whatever. No, all that BS that we don't do these things that I was told as stereotypes, and we only stick to these stereotypes can be easily broken now, thanks to the power of social media and all that stuff like that. You just see so many different people getting it in so many different ways, expressing themselves and their backgrounds and their identities and their flavor and their style as Black people. You know what I'm saying? That's beautiful. That's awesome. That's what real power is. And I'm excited about that. So when I think about my nephew who is biracial, and the experiences that he will have growing up and learning about his culture, especially on his Black side of the family, it'll be amazing to see. And definitely that's something that I want to be a resource to for him as well, to have these type of conversations when starts to step into his identity and about his cultural identity and stuff like that. And everything that he starts to experience growing up, and some of the comments that he may have to face, right, and how to overcome those different things. I'm excited to be that resource to him as well, but also to kind of help introduce him to some different type of interests that he might have, whether it be within film and music or whatever. I'm definitely going to be that uncle that puts on for him, because that's the environment that I came in from my father. And I think that's just the dopest thing that we can do for the future right there. So for me, winning that war from within and becoming the person that I am today and expressing myself like this is super dope, man. I'm very thankful of that. And the last thing that I can say throughout this entire process is going back to my father. I'll just never forget, one of the last conversations I had with my father, a deep conversation before he passed away. I remember him picking up me and my homie Q from downtown Chicago and driving us back. He'd always give these different type of speeches and lectures and stuff like that. So this is where it comes from too. I just remember him saying to us real late at night too. He was saying this, but it's like, there's going to be a lot of places that you go to where people don't look like you, but just know you deserve to be there. And I really think about that and all these different experiences I've had. You damn right I deserve to be there. And there'll be nothing that gets in the way of achieving that vision that my father put out, that word that he put into me. And I hold on to that dearly and greatly, man. I deserve to be there. And I've done the work, and I definitely have won the battle. And also I've won the war.